Go for it, babe.
Nice pass. Turn around, Jamie. Keep touch, keep. Great pass, great pass. Go, Jamie, go, Jamie.
I'm Adrienne Chappelle, and I used to be a competitive gymnast.
My name is Anna, and I used to do dance.
My name is Cassie, and I played soccer.
My name is Anna. I used to do gymnastics for about 8 years.
My name is Emily Waisman, and I used to play soccer for 11 years.
My parents
put me in it.
My mom put me in it.
And my parents just kind of put me in it to keep me active and kind of start my love of sports.
My mom was a coach for her whole career, and she coached at an Olympic level, so basically I was born into the gym. So for me it wasn't so much of a choice, but something that I was really born into, which isn't to say that I didn't love it for the years that I did do it. It was a sport that I cared a lot about and I quite enjoyed.
I left about 2 years ago when I was 14 or 15, and it was getting to a point where I wasn't really progressing as much as I thought I would like to, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and it wasn't somewhere where I could take it for my future, so it just seemed like the best option was to quit. It was also getting really expensive, so really not many options for me.
I left this year, so I was 16, and I left because there was a lot of pressure to go post-secondary and play at a university, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to put as much time and effort in as I was, just to stay off the bench.
When I left, I was 12 or 13 years old, March of grade 7, and I left because back in grade 5 I had also started doing volleyball, so it was interfering, but it was more about the teachers. They weren't nice at all. They were always like forcing me to look a certain way, and it just got in the way of everything, and I couldn't take it anymore. They were also becoming a lot meaner, and it wasn't something I could see myself doing in the long run.
I left when I was 15, so my last season was in grade 9. And I left mostly because of the coaching. I had really good coaches for a few years, but then that coach was replaced, and he was not very understanding of like other commitments, and I just didn't feel like supported as a multi-sport athlete.
So I ended up leaving gymnastics after my grade 9 year. And it was a decision that I had been toying with for a few years at that point. I had felt that the training was really intense. I was training 20 hours a week and was likely going to be going to 25 hours a week moving forward because I was at a higher competitive level. And feeling that stress of competitive season every year was really taxing on me. And so at competitive season every year, I would tell my mom I wanted to quit, and she would say, "You have to wait until competitive season is over." But by the time summer would hit, that was the fun training when we were learning new skills. But by the time I had finished grade 9 and I'd done a year of high school, I realized that I wanted a social life that I didn't have when I was training so much. And so that ended up being my decision to quit at that point.
Another reason that I left was because at my soccer club, the boys' teams were getting a lot more support and attention than the girls' program. And I think that's a big problem in a lot of soccer clubs specifically. So I think obviously more support for the girls' side of the club, whether that's money-wise or better coaching. I think that could have really helped. And also coaches being more encouraging for girls to play other sports.
I think if there was more support from parents and coaches about not having to go post-secondary and there being other options, as well as the possibility to go down a level and it to still be a similarity in like playing, because there aren't a lot of girls levels, which makes it more difficult to switch.
Well, the teachers, for starters, they're mean people. They always I know there's dancers out there, they're always being told, "Oh, I can see your lunch," or you're not perfect enough and you have to be a certain size for dance. So the teachers, they have to be more open to stuff.
I think that it's harder for girls to take it somewhere than boys. It gets really stressful and tough to a point where it's it's more or less stress to just quit.
So I actually didn't know that there was a much higher rate of girls quitting than boys. So for me, I guess that might be a question of what types of sports that people are in. And so if it was a team sport, maybe it provides some of the elements that an individual sport doesn't, and that might keep people in longer. And I wonder if that's just maybe a priority thing as they shift through those later teen years, where it fulfills more of those priorities, whereas for girls, maybe they find it doesn't as much.
I think that there's a really big biological component in that, as when girls hit puberty at whatever 13 to 17, their hips get wider, they tend to put on more weight, and which makes it more difficult to run faster and gain more muscle, making them hit a plateau or become stagnant in their sport. And for guys it's different. They gain more muscle, they become leaner, they can jump higher, run faster, so they continue to improve. But when girls feel that they aren't improving, and even though they're putting in the effort, they're not getting faster, they're not getting stronger, they're not getting to the level they want to, they're more likely to quit, because when people aren't improving, they don't want to keep doing said sport.
Girls, like I said, they have to look a certain way or be a certain way to be in a sport. For boys, it's more like they just have to be big, and that's it. Whether you're small and you have mad hops, you can go to basketball, but see, you're not the right height. Or for boys again, you just, football, you don't have to be built a nice way, you just have to be a big guy so you can push people. So I definitely think it's society, stereotypes.
I think, like I said earlier, there's more support for boys' sports than girls' sports, whether that's with the club or even fans watching. A lot of girls feel like they can't make it far in the sport, so they just kind of quit when it gets hard or when they don't feel really supported anymore. So I think that's mainly why.
Okay, do you have any closing comments that you want to say?
No, I think we need more women in sports.
Slay.
Yeah.